2024 has come to an end and we're all recovering from Christmas food comas, and I wanted an excuse to talk about my top games of 2024, because there's a continuous discourse online about how games are dying and that there's nothing good to play. Firstly, all I have to say to those people is to stop playing Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed, and secondly, if you think gaming is dead, you need to open your eyes a little bit more and expand your horizons, because there is more releases than ever before and there just isn't enough coverage to go over every single release that happens every single day, this year being no exception. So maybe you're looking for some recommendations of what to play next, or you're here because YouTube says so. Either way, let's begin. Voin, yes, that's the title, is a solo-developed first-person hack-and-slash RPG that entered early access at the start of December. If you want a quick rundown of the game, it's as if Skyrim, Dying Light, and Diablo indulged in a menage a trois, and this roguelite gem was the end result. It's chaotic, fast, and in my personal opinion, which doesn't really count for much, does first-person melee combat better than most AAA games. Except the two-handed mace, that thing kinda sucks. Naturally, being early access, the worlds available right now are limited, but their size is incredibly generous, and the movement allows you to traverse even the longest of distances very quickly. Between dodging enemy attacks that are telegraphed very well due to the color flash, to slicing your way through hordes of enemies while you yourself are trying to avoid the same fate. Voin is a game that rewards situational awareness and becomes more exhilarating to play the more enemies there are. Sheathing your weapons allows you to teleport much longer ranges, and falling from significant height causes an AoE lightning attack which gives you more reason to not stand in place and relentlessly mash your attack button. Voin is a true standout to me, and for that reason it takes number 5. It's Half-Life Alyx. Yes, it released in 2020, but I played it this year and it blew my socks off, so shut up. After finally purchasing a Valve Index this year and indulging in the world of VR, Half-Life Alyx is still the standout title to me that I have played. Immersion reaches a completely different level when you suddenly have full control over your character. From experiencing the tension of reloading in combat, to dodging head crabs, to shitting your pants because you're in pitch black with a flashlight and you just realized you're not alone. Half-Life Alyx constantly had me engaged in a way I never knew I wanted, and probably put me onto multiple agencies' watch lists while doing so. Gunfights hit very differently when you're fighting the aches in your knees trying to crouch below cover, and sometimes all you can do is blind fire and hope to hell that you hit something. Also, in typical Valve game fashion, the modding community has gone wild and the extra content available is nearly endless. Highly recommended. Spritzing head crabs is a 10 out of 10 experience. Back to actual 2024 releases, and this time it's a little more explosive. Yes, it's Helldivers 2, the game that no one knew they wanted, but once they played, they wanted nothing else. Even with other co-op multiplayer games on the market this year, there is simply nothing in the same sphere as Helldivers 2. Just you and the boys, and 10,000 enemies who want your booty hole. From being curious about the gameplay, to making the purchase and losing hours of sleep because I was pushing my luck with how much Helldivers 2 I could fit in before I was a cranky mess at work, Helldivers 2 delivered in a way I couldn't believe was possible. And to this day, nothing feels as cinematic as being the last man alive against a swarm of bugs and calling in an Eagle 500. Also, friendly fire has never felt so good. Good on you, Arrowhead. Sorry Sony made you enemy number 1 for a while. Secrets of Grindea. Yes, of course it was going to pop up here, but how could it not? After 50 hours of gameplay and blasting the soundtrack so much the composer Andrew Riley was my number 1 on Spotify for 2024, it was inevitable Secrets of Grindea was going to be in my top 5. If you want the full rundown, then click the link in the description and comments below, but essentially this action RPG gave me a warm fuzzy feeling that made me fall in love with gaming once again. Endearing characters, fast-paced and solid gameplay, puzzle solving that actually made me stop and think, which is a rarity, as well as music that I still jam day to day. Well done, Pixel Ferrets. Hopefully the next game doesn't take 13 years to come together. Have you ever played a cutesy Metroidvania? Neither had I until I stumbled across Crypt Custodian. Initially playing the demo at the start of the year, it was one of the few upcoming games that I was actually excited for, and the full release captured my heart. Combat is undeniably smooth, and the mere act of jumping around has a sense of joyfulness about it that is reminiscent of games like Mario 64, Crash Bandicoot, and Spyro the Dragon. Characters are also absolutely endearing, and while the story is quite sparse, I won't deny that the ending made me misty-eyed and question who started cutting the onions. Also, for you who love a boss rush mode, guess what? Crypt Custodian has one built in, and holy shit, the bosses in this game are just a blast to fight. Having played a fair amount of Metroidvanias this year, I've noted that many tend to run out of ideas towards the latter half when it comes to boss design, but in my opinion, Crypt Custodian never sees that issue. Even the final boss surprises you with variants on established attacks and mechanics. And to top it off, the sound design and music are just perfect. Attacks and effects stand out, fitting the slight whimsical and ethereal tone perfectly. And of course, the music is such a beautiful mix of melancholic, serene, and head-bopping when it comes to the moments that need it. Whether you're a newbie to Metroidvanias or you're looking for another to scratch that itch, Crypt Custodian is worth your time and money. So that's my list, my top 5 games released, mostly, this year. But what about you? There's no shortage of good games across the spectrum this year, so let me know what your top picks are. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.